How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Good. Your appearance?
Yes, for the record, Your Honor, Stephen Moss on behalf of the defendant, Tannen Rowe, who is
Your
seated to
name?
my right.
Your name, sir?
Tannen Rowe, sir.
So for purposes of arraignment, does he wish to stand mute, waive formal reading?
Precisely, Your Honor.
I'll enter a not guilty plea. You've now pre-tried this with the city attorney, and this is going to be a plea to allow an unlicensed driver to drive with a drive while suspended, revoked, denied to be dismissed. True?
That is true, Your Honor.
Is that what you would like to do, sir?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
If you do that, the possible penalties are up to $500 in fines, 90 days jail, costs, or all of those. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're presumed innocent. They have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to a trial by court or trial by jury. At a trial, you have the right to question their witnesses, to bring in your own witnesses, to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses, and to testify or remain silent. If you choose to remain silent, that silence would not be held against you. By pleading guilty, you're waiving your presumption of innocence, and you're waiving the requirement that they prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand everything I've just said?
Yes, sir.
Is this how you wish to proceed? This is 0 points, and it won't go on your record.
Yes, sir.
To the charge of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I'm sorry?
Guilty, Your Honor. Sorry.
On February 25 of 23 at 3:15 in the morning, were you in control of a 2006 Ford that was being operated on Western Manning in the city of Trenton, County of Wayne?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Did you allow somebody to drive that was unlicensed or suspended or revoked? And was that somebody you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation or parole?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand by pleading guilty here, this would be deemed a violation of that probation.
Yes, Your
And I
Honor.
do want you to know, even though this is not going to go on your record, you need to report this to your probation officer. You understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And you understand you plead guilty. If I accept your plea, that is, that your probation on that case could be revoked and you could be incarcerated on that charge as a result of this plea and conviction.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Do you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anybody in the world force you to plead guilty?
What was that, sir? I'm sorry?
Did anybody at all force you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Plea is accepted to allowing unlicensed driver to drive. The suspend, revoke, denied is dismissed. Counsel, why was he driving on a revoked license?
Your Honor, and his mother is behind me in the virtual courtroom, virtual waiting room. There was a power outage.
Is that her in the back there, Mr. Monk?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. I feel like I'm at a sporting event. She looks like she's sitting in the bleachers. Go ahead.
Yes, and there was a power outage that day. They have a generator. Generator ran out of gas. His mother is disabled on multiplicity of medications. And primarily, that's the reason. Secondarily, I could do further allocution, but under the circumstances, those specific circumstances on that day, I do ask that you accept the plea.
Hey, you know what? It's rare when I try not to ever get involved in what they do unless they're playing games. And if she listened to this and that's what she chose to do, it's her call. Is this when the power went out?
Yes,
Must have been, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is he on probation he's on probation to circuit court?
Yes, Your Honor. There was a driving under the influence of medicinal cannabis. Mr. Rowe is disabled. He was a passenger in an automobile several years ago. He has been using medicinal cannabis for pain and discomfort. Probation department knows it. Probation department has approved his use of it during this during this period of probation. I also do a significant amount of driver's license appeals. We've been talking about that specifically. So the license has been revoked, and once he finishes probation, that's obviously when we'll start that process.
I must have misunderstood. Did you say
Yes,
he was a passenger in the vehicle? I thought I heard you say.
That was a different incident. That was the result of his disability and the reason for his use of medicinal cannabis, Your Honor. And so this matter back in August of 2020 was the result of the use of medicinal cannabis and driving at that time, and his license was in effect at that.
He's had at least 4 drunk drivings then, right?
3, Your Honor. One back in 2011.
That was a second offense notice, so he had to have a prior then he got one in 18, then he got one in 21.
20, Your Honor, August 30th of 2020. I do have the driving record, and I only see the one.
Wait a minute. Let's slow down a second.
Yes, Your Honor.
He got one in 2011 out of Farmington Hills. That's on his CCH.
Correct.
That's a second offense notice. They don't send out second offense notices unless he has at least one prior. Then he has one in 18 out of Westland. Then he has another one out of Livonia. So he's had at least 4 drunk drivings, right, Mr. Rowe? Don't lie to me.
Is that correct?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
I didn't hear you.
That is correct, sir. Yes. 3 with alcohol, 1 with prescription medication and medical marijuana.
Well, it doesn't matter what they are. You can't drive under the influence.
Yes,
I'm getting a kick out of your mugshot here. You look like a rock star.
Yeah,
you
it's
don't play in a band, dude.
my prescription glasses for seizures. Also a result of the March accident in 2020.
Where was he going at the time that he was traveling on February 25th, Mr. Moss?
To buy gas for the generator for their house.
Well, he lives in Southgate. What's he doing in Trenton?
All the power was out, so no gas stations were open. I was going to the gas station off of West Road and Allen.
There was no gas station open from Southgate all the way until you got to West Road and Manning?
All the power was out, all the lights were out, everything was out.
Anything else, Mr. Moss?
No, Your Honor. Unless you wanted to hear further discussion from his mother. Obviously, she's here and she drove him here.
No, I don't need to hear anything. I mean, I'll be glad to listen if you want me to listen. I
don't think it's reasonable or necessary at this time, Your Honor. I think you have a clear picture of the facts and circumstances of Mr. Rowe's past.
Yeah, your record looks ugly. I want to be clear about something. I don't write these laws. I mean, I certainly, under these circumstances, think you deserve a revocation. Okay? There's no question about it when you get this many drunk drivings. But I'll tell you, I'm not gonna make an issue with this, but you need to stop. You need to stop right now. I hope you're staying clean on probation. I really do.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been in a sobriety court or a drug court?
I don't believe so.
Well, you would know. It's quite extensive probation.
I've done drug testing, like with what you call them for the color jams.
Yeah, how often do you test?
I'm sorry, I was just going to say he's currently in outpatient counseling right now over at the Guidance Center, as well as being tested twice a month. Random drug screening, twice a month individual counseling, and twice a month group counseling. I want to add that as well, Your Honor.
He probably needs to be testing more on demand, but that's not my call. $100. Was he arrested at the time of this, or was he or was he just simply ticketed?
Just ticketed, dropped off at home, sir.
The police in Trenton drove you all the way to Southgate?
Yes, they did. Very nice gentleman.
All right. $100 fines, $250 costs, $75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment. $475. I'll go light, 2 days community service. I want you to complete that by May the 15th, okay? Your
Yes, sir.
lawyer will tell you can do that. 16 hours community service, $475, or 90 days jail, okay? Can you pay all of this today, counsel?
Yes, sir.
So you can go online and make your payment.
And I just want to ask one question, Judge.
33court.com with his case number, with the case number. Yes, go ahead.
I refer a lot of my clients to the Gleaners Food Bank and Habitat for Humanity, community service like that. Will the court order specific community service within the court system, or?
No, I don't care. I don't care. It just has to be a nonprofit organization and he has to do the work. Absolutely no problem.
Wonderful.
Okay. All right,
Your
Mr.
Honor,
Moss.
thank you again for your consideration this morning, and it's good to see you.
You too. Talk to your client. Tell him to stop doing this, will you please? Thank you very much. Have a good day. Take
Thank
care.
you, Judge. You as well.
Thank you.
Are we ready on Christopher Clark, Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, Judge, good morning.
Good morning to you. People against Christopher James Clark, 23T639-7760D.
For the record, Your Honor, House Counsel, Attorney Mike Baldwin, D65417, on behalf of my client, Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, can you just please state your name for the record?
Christopher Clark.
Good morning, Your Honor. For the record, today's the date and time set for sentencing. We've had an opportunity to go over the pre-sentence investigation report. We'd like to announce that there are no deletions, corrections, or errors. If I may just briefly speak on behalf of my client.
You may, and I want to just make sure, again, Joel Russell is not here. So restitution, if any, will be handled through civil litigation. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Before the court is Mr. Clark on his first and hopefully last DUI. This is kind of an interesting situation. He came off as an individual who's very conscientious about making sure that he's maintaining law-abiding behavior. He was in a bar, and I have reason to believe they were making these unregulated mixed drinks. The last one,
unregulated,
meaning that they don't put the regulator on there and then it pours a regulated amount. And
in other words, they're putting too much booze.
There they are, and his bartender left for minutes.
Well, he was drinking, I think, besides a couple beers, I think he said old fashions. Did you not?
Yep.
How many shots of booze go in an old fashioned?
I'm actually not sure.
He blacked out. He was in a blackout. He was driving in a blackout.
I think old fashions have several kinds or several items of booze.
This is changing the way that he thinks about what it says on the can. It says, be sure to drink responsibly. And I tend to think that we forget the language on the can, the writing on the wall. So this is, I've asked Mr. Clark to chalk this up as a learning expense.
You're talking about what it says in the restroom?
No, on the can of the beer or something.
Oh,
please drive.
Okay.
Please drink responsibly.
I didn't.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. And we tend to not be mindful of those words sometimes. So he came out.
But it wasn't in the can. Old fashions are hand poured, right?
That's the distinction of, I think, why he's here is because I have reason to believe in speaking with him, he got unregulated drinks. And it just had way too much alcohol in it, and it just overtook him. So, Your Honor, the only thing I'm going to ask the court to consider is under the report for substance abuse assessment. I understand this is probably a DSM-5 thing. Is that I'm going to ask the court to consider alcohol drug education in lieu of the outpatient substance abuse. I'm just going to announce that to the court as a consideration. That's also under provision 6 of the recommendation. We're asking the court to adopt the recommendation to 12 months of probation. I informed him that of what the legislature has passed regarding the promulgation of new law to be off within 50%, so he's aware of that. Aside from that, I have nothing else to add.
Anything you would like to say, Mr. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for the moment for letting me say this. But I am deeply regretful for the situation. Drinking and driving is something I'm very against. I don't know what happened. I left a friend at the bar, and it scared me. It scared me a lot, and I don't ever want to be here or in any of this situation again. And I'm so grateful that no one was severely injured.
So the good news for you is both times you came in here, you look like a lawyer that comes in here from time to time who will go unnamed. And I thought you were him, just a few pounds lighter, you being a few pounds lighter. You dress appropriately. I mean, I give you kudos. I don't see a lot of people coming here with suits and ties on.
I respect this courtroom, sir.
Well, you should, not this courtroom, you should respect every courtroom.
Absolutely.
But I do have concerns here. I'm going to be candid with you.
Sure.
Started drinking old fashions. I don't know anything about old fashions, but I think I've heard that old fashions have 3 or 4 different types of booze in them. So when you have 2 of those, my guess is you had 6 or 7. The point is, and I don't need to guess, you had a breathalyzer that was pretty high, 0.16 and 0.17. What I am troubled about is that you drove into the back of somebody. And then I'm surprised they didn't write you for leaving the scene.
Yes,
You
sir.
left the scene of the accident.
Yes, sir.
So, you know,
I would never do that.
I tend to think this is an isolated incident, and you have been extremely respectful. And I know you're taking this seriously, but sometimes we have to pay for our actions. Like I said, you plowed into the back of somebody, you had a high breathalyzer, you left the scene, 12 months probation. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate any law or ordinance. If you do change your address, your place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify probation. You have to report as directed, no alcohol, no illegal drugs, no marijuana either. Now, I read the report, and it says that you do not have a valid medical marijuana card, but you use it for a certain treatment. But if you don't have a valid medical marijuana card, even though it's legal, I'm not going to let you use marijuana. Okay. Kratom, poppy seeds, and CBD oils are prohibited. Consuming food or other items containing those substances will be deemed a violation. I can't tell you, you know, when I look at this, there's just a little bit of a flag that's going up. As respectful and honest and remorseful as I find you, there's a flag that's going up here. You shouldn't be driving when you're blacked out. And I'm going to order biweekly testing for 6 weeks. Then I'm going to convert it to monthly testing for 3 months, then on demand. I do want you to attend AANA once a week until you're in treatment. I'm going to order an outpatient substance abuse treatment program. I want you to attend that, complete that. Based on your results, it's certainly mandated. You scored in category 3 on the alcohol use portion and 4 on the drug use. The worst is 5. So it's telling me you've got a problem. No contact with the victim, Joel Rustle. Pay restitution, if any, through civil litigation. Whatever is awarded, if there is civil litigation. Again, Victims Impact Panel, outpatient treatment, AANA once a week, biweekly testing for 6 weeks, then monthly for 3 months. Then I'll make it on demand and probation. You may be eligible for early discharge. 5 days jail credit, 1 serve 4, 3 days court work program in lieu of jail, and 1 day of community service. So I want you 3 days on the court work program. There's $35 a day charge for that, for a total of $105. $300 in fines, $225 costs, $75 victims' rights fee, $50 justice assessment. So fines and costs are $650. You have a screening fee of $60. You have probation fees of $20 per month for a total of $240. You have $150 in cost of recovery. That is Trenton, and that is to be paid through the court. And then you have $105 in court work program fees, $35 a day. So I want to check my math, but I believe that's $1,205. Yes. 12:05. If you violate, your probation could be revoked. You could be incarcerated for 93 days. Listen, I think you're a very nice person. I really do. I think you got to be careful. I really do. You're lucky nobody got hurt. You have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal if you cannot afford one. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you pay this today or do you need time?
I'm gonna need a little bit of time.
How much do you have with you?
Like 600.
Okay, you pay 600 now. You make net 600 per week. Is that true?
Yes,
I'll let you pay 75. You get paid weekly or bi-weekly?
bi-weekly.
I'll let you pay 600 today, 775 bi-weekly. Do you get paid this Friday or next?
I get paid tomorrow, yes.
I'll let you start this beginning on Monday, 75 a week. So you can start paying that on the 3rd of April, and then you don't have to pay again until the 17th. So every other Monday, starting this Monday, you pay $75. You will, Mr. Baldwin, make sure he gets an AA form. Every time you go, you have to have the form signed. Every time you come to court, you have to bring the form with you, okay? I wish you well, Mr. Clark. Do you have any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Good luck. Mr. Baldwin, anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
And you will meet with probation before you leave. So go down, pay your 600, and he'll bring the file over to probation. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir.